I'm 56 years old. I have a 19-year-old daughter, and I'm living in the same room that I grew up in. This was not the plan until it became the only plan.
I'm fed up with changes. Come pick me up 'cause I just wanna see the light. I wanna be weightless. Teach me to fly, I won't be coming down. Could somebody wake me up? I don't wanna be here and let the world pass me by. Yeah. I just see her face wherever I look. She's standing in the crowd.
These red doors, I used to cut school and sneak out of these red doors. We had to go past the dean, who had a ruler and would smack the girls on their asses. So I had to get by him, and then we would break out and hide our book bags in the neighborhood and be free for the day and go to Central Park.
I'm so sick of waiting and getting too restless to be in this dusty town. I've heard of this place where people forget and you get another try. So come open up.
Most older people don't like to move after a certain age. My mom was a single mother. She was doing whatever she could to keep the roof over our head, to keep the lights on, but she was constantly worried all the time. In survival mode, I learned to hold my breath around her. So I did what any teenager might do and sought out my own emotional survival out into the urban jungle of New York City. I reclaimed my freedom, and I used to treat this apartment like a prison. I had to escape. I became an expert on being invisible, sneaking out of school, sneaking out of the house. There was a lot of sneaking around. But now I'm an adult, and I have a lot more tools in my toolbox, and I came back to try to make a difference in her life. I swore to myself that I would never live in an apartment that was facing the street and loud again. But here I am back on 2nd Avenue. This apartment has other issues too. I remember moving into this apartment when I was 5 years old, and the apartment is older. There's no way I would survive without my headphones. One of my favorite places in the world is in a bubble bath, and yet the water looks like this. The leaky faucet. About every other day, the toilet clogs. Okay, people, I know the apartment's old, but is this even legal? The kitchen is one of those places that can potentially make you feel like you're at home. And it's a place where my mother and I really struggle. We're always trying to figure out where to put things, how to designate space, basically how to share a kitchen. She probably feels like I'm taking over, and I'm just trying to get a little space where I'm used to having my own kitchen. But it's not really about the space. Growing up here was chaos. To say that my childhood here was inconsistent is an understatement. I think a lot about that stifling feeling I carried, that sense of being trapped, not by the walls, but by the emotional climate. But I try to tell myself that in the bigger picture, it's not that important. It's more important to have a relationship with my mother and be able to take care of her. And to show up and do the right thing.
Well, that was perfect. Thank you.
she doesn't see the woman who raised 2 children, who navigated a marriage of almost 20 years, a woman who, between the hours of 9 and 2 p.m., pursued various careers, archived an art collection, started a not-for-profit, had her own photo business, and became a real estate agent, buying and selling million-dollar properties. But instead, she sees me as the girl who wanted to escape and run.
Geraldine!
And run I did. Imagine you go home to visit and then you realize that you're not leaving anytime soon. But I wasn't running from her. I was running for myself, for my own freedom and self-preservation. Taking a breath and being alone for a few minutes in this room made me remember and reconnect with that adventurous feeling. My sister and I would lower a box out of the window and ask passerbyers to buy us candy. Then we would eat all the candy and stuff the wrappers in the radiator, only to be found later by repairmen. Later, I used to sneak out of that window. I would climb down a scaffolding that was there to the streets to find some stimulation, some life that felt like mine in the city. I ran in the rain at 3 a.m. to meet a friend of mine at the stairs of the Met. I can still feel the rain. It was raining so hard that we couldn't see a foot in front of us. We were completely soaked through and through. And as I looked around at how bold my mom was for coming back to New York to be an artist, and her beautiful painting on the wall, looking at the books that were housed by the bookshelves that my grandfather built, and what pioneers my grandparents both were. Thinking about the through line of my grandparents, my mom, and their resiliency made me realize that my never-ending urge to explore and create was not an isolated event, but rather an extension of a long line of our family history. And this made me feel at home. And it's something I can take with me wherever I go.
I called out one day.
It's a humbling experience for both of us to live together after all of these years. And one thing is for certain, I don't want to be treated like a child, and neither does she. I mean, she is actually pretty fiercely independent. And we both do have other choices. I could rent somewhere else, and she could rent out the bedroom. But we keep coming back because I think that we both know there might be something else here. Something that we can let in. Something bigger than both of us. We are showing up in this mother-daughter dynamic, and as irritating and imperfect as it might feel, we seem to both be more interested in growing from this and learning to trust each other for reals.
I called out one day just to hear a sound. Someone still around. She heard me call. She heard me say her name.
I'm excited, although I'm really excited to see you go. I'm excited for the new possibility. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and an altruistic landscape, I also came back to New York to recalibrate and start my next chapter. And if you're wondering why I left California to end up back in this room, that's what's next, because this story really starts with a California dream.
Buying candy?
Buying candy? I don't have any cash on me, I'm sorry.
No,
No, there's $1 in there.
There's
Put $1 in the box.
You want to buy candy?
Yeah.
Like from a store nearby?
Is there a candy store right there?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Thank you.